Hi, I'm attorney Josh Jones, and I practice criminal law here in the state of Michigan. And I'm bringing you this criminal law video series in order to help educate and assist with some of the basic concepts and issues involved in criminal law and criminal defense. Today I want to talk about, for the first video series, police encounters and how they can arrive and come about in a variety of aspects and situations. Generally, people will see that they're encountered by police officers on the street while in their home or even driving a vehicle. A lot of situations will occur in a vehicle. So first, the most basic thing is what should be said or not said to an officer when you first encounter them. And this will really depend on, are you a person of interest or under investigation, or even suspected of criminal activity, or even a traffic infraction? Or are you in that other realm where you're actually a potential witness? Now, if you're a witness, I'm going to save those comments to another video series later on that I'll be publishing. This video series focuses on the individual defendant or possible criminal culprit. So with that said, you want to be very weary of what you're telling officers, because what they are gatherers of information. And they serve and protect, and they gather information in order to provide to the prosecutor. So every time you're speaking to an officer, when they're investigating and you're potentially within that investigation as a culprit, anything you say and will say can and will be used against you in a court of law, which means that you have to be careful, because a lot of what you are telling them could be incriminating. So you want to keep your comments and your statements to officers at a very limited background, need to know type of situation, and you do not want to incriminate yourself. The first thing you do on any sort of question that may bring about an incriminating statement is you invoke your right to remain silent, unequivocally. If you do not invoke that right, if you just simply do not talk, you are not unequivocally invoking your right to silence. So you want to make sure that you are telling the officer that you are not going to be answering any more questions, that you'll not be providing them with information unless you have your attorney present, which is your second right, once you have been put into a situation where your constitutional rights will be influenced. And you never know when those constitutional rights can come about. So that's why it's very important to invoke those rights on any possible incriminating statement that you may or potentially could give to an officer based upon the question that they have. So what were you doing? Where were you? What do you have on you? All of those are potential incriminating questions that will lead, or potentially could lead, to incriminating statements. And that is a good segue into the next issue for police encounters, which is consent to search, or allowing an officer to search you, your car, your personal possessions, or even your home. Depending upon the situation, some officers will have a constitutional exception to search you or your property. This is mostly found in motor vehicles. However, you still do not want to provide consent to an officer to search any property, even if they may, or you may believe that they have some sort of constitutional exception to search that property or person or vehicle. And the reason for that is because we can never know until we analyze the situation. So anytime an officer asks, do you consent or may I search, you always deny consent. Make them do their job and establish the probable cause, reasonable suspicion that they will need later in court in order to uphold that search, because they may or may not have it. And we must always remember that officers can and will lie in order to bring about information that they can use in an investigation, which is completely legal and used throughout police interrogation and police encounters daily. So we have to be careful of what we're doing and what we're allowing a police officer to do to us, meaning deny search, deny that they can, deny them to search your person, to deny them to search your vehicle. If they believe that they have probable cause or reasonable suspicion to search that property or thing, then they will do so at their own risk. And again, that's when we come back and later make sure that they are doing what is necessary and legal. When talking about the home, that's the same concept. Unless an officer has a warrant, you want to make sure that you're always denying them consent to search your home. You may or may not be doing anything wrong, but you don't know. And that's the thing is, as I've stated earlier, a police officer is a fact gatherer. They are out there to gather facts and then report them to the prosecutor or higher agency that's going to later charge you with a criminal activity. And so they are not the ones who officially sign off on the charges, and they may even be reporting possible charges that may inevitably come out to be different charges because of the facts. Because not every officer knows the law to a T. And so it's fundamental to make sure that you're forcing their hand. And if they don't have a warrant, you want to absolutely deny consent to the home, or deny consent to search the home. And this would also come about arrest warrants. If you are legally allowed to stop an arrest from happening to yourself, I mean, in the sense that